Hello everybody, welcome to episode 13, season 4 of the Eyes Test the Rayo Vallecano series with me, Ringo FM. The season is finished, we are starting season 4, we have literally just reached the return for pre-season training, and do you know what? I'm actually quite happy with how it's been going. The end of the season was absolutely fantastic. Look at this, a 9th place finish. We actually at one stage were very, very close to breaking into the Conference League. You can see we finished on 53 points behind Almeria and Villarreal, who eventually got in there. Look at that for a season from Rayo Valladolid. That is tremendous stuff. This guy, the Romanian guy, Monteo, he's a player that we actually scouted. Not sure what happened there. Anyway, he's a player that we actually scouted. Scouted eyes test wise. You think, jumping, acceleration, anticipation. He's someone who's shown up a few times, season he's had 23 league goals, just behind Lewandowski and Alvaro Morata. But yeah, a 9th place finish in the league to round it all off. And do you know what? Tenerife got relegated, and I'm buzzing because Sergio Camelo's a prick. I just need to show you the schedule. So obviously we last saw each other for the double header for Atletico, where we lost 3-0. We then went away to we then played against Real Sociedad. We went 2-0 up. I thought brilliant. We conceded a load of stupid goals. Thought, do you know what? This is just daft. It's daft. We're conceding a lot of late stupid goals. So we changed the tactic up again slightly. We tweaked little things. My game management, I'm trying to make better subs. I'm trying to drop the lines. I'm trying to waste a bit more time. And it worked. Straight away we went into a game. We actually won it late with Miguel Rodriguez picking up his first goal for the club. A 2-1 victory over Deportivo Alaves. Followed up a win against Espanyol, another 2-1 victory. Zobnan picking up an 8 rating there. He's just tremendous. And again, look at Jota, 7.8. I think there's 2 players in this team that have to play every single time they can, and I think it's Zobnan and Jota. Barcelona, we actually performed quite well. We scored quite late. The Bastoni goal was really, really unfortunate. But that sort of just compounded what was happening. We were beating the teams in and around us. Actually, Villarreal were much ahead of us, as you can see. They got Conference League. We won with Butska getting his first goal for the club. Draw against Osasuna. We conceded within seconds. Scored very, very late on. 4-1 against Valladolid, Felipe Bastoni getting his first goal, Gessan Jackson, just some really good performances. This one being the absolute pinnacle of it. We tore Sevilla apart at home, a 4-0 victory. Lost to Betis, we always lose to Betis. Real Madrid, just Real Madrid. We weren't going to beat them. And then look at this for a run to the end of the season. If we had actually won that game, we'd have finished on 55 points, so we'd have been just slightly behind. But I feel like we bottled it, to be honest. The Felipe sending off in what was actually his retirement game was a bit of an issue. But yeah, it was his retirement game, and if I actually click on him, you're going to see that Felipe is now our assistant manager. Highlighted are the attributes needed to be a decent and competent assistant manager. You can see he's on 2s and 1s. However, our assistant manager, Rui Agas, wouldn't sign a new contract. He wanted 10 grand a week. We can't afford it. We just simply can't afford it. You may have noticed on the club info screen at the beginning, we're £11 million in the red. We need some investment soon. There you go, 11.64 million. We're really, really operating at a loss. We're losing money every season. The television money hasn't hit yet. That hits sort of towards the end of July, which I think bump us back up to maybe sort of like 8 to 10 million in the black. But our finances, they just show okay. We've got, we're worth about 83 million. The loan debt's only 300k, so I don't know why people aren't taking the punt on us. They're not. It is what it is, but he's come in. I thought, do you know what? He knows the club. He's been at the club. He was actually fantastic for the year that we had him. He was a fantastic player. If we can look at his career stats, 6.89, 4 goals, a couple of big goals there. I just think he's good. And the fact he's got a good personality. Where's he gone? Felipe. He's got a good personality. His preferred formation is the 4-3-3 DM wide, which is what we've gone to. Tactical style is wing play, direct. more pressing. Do you see what I mean? He's just he suits what we want. Good personality, good determination. I thought, he wants 2.7k, and it's not as if it's dented our staff any. We still have the best staff in the league. It just means that we're relying on people like Kolo Toure to come in and do a lot of the coaching. You can see Kolo Toure is fantastic as a coach. So, yeah, it's not the end of the world. We are still working on trying to get Pellegrini to become something of like a coach. He doesn't really fancy it yet. He's still not quite there, but we do use him for a lot of like next opposition scouting reports, and then giving us reports from how we performed recently, and that seems to be working quite well. So yeah, we lost Felipe, and then if you think about it, this actually, let's change this to Roman Zoblin. I would say this is actually our best 11 based on what we've got left, and obviously we've lost a lot of players, and a lot of players come in. We have got a few trialists above my head there in the green, but I think this is probably the best of what we've got, so we need to try and pick around and work out what we're going to do. So we have made some transfers in, and when I say we've replaced Felipe, I mean we have replaced Felipe. And look at this guy. This is Juan Carlos Baigorria, a 6'1" Argentinian who has come in from Vélez Sarsfield over in Argentina. Look at him. Look at him. Look at that value. 48 to 73 million. Again, we didn't scout this guy. I'll show you exactly how we found him. I've seen people on Twitter and on Reddit sort of saying, what's the best way of finding new gens and regens, and you see it and you see all these YouTube videos. I'll show you exactly what the easiest way of finding them is, and I'll do it in just a second. But we're going to talk about this guy. 18 years of age, 37 professional appearances, 2 caps for the Argentinian national team. He came in for a whopping 7.25 million. That makes him our highest ever paid player. That is all up front. I was looking through when Felipe did decide to retire, thinking, how are we gonna get around this? How are we gonna find someone who's as good as Felipe but is also an improvement on Felipe at the same time? I mean, look at him. Look at him. Unbelievable. His coach report, obviously, he adds to the domestic, the non-EU players, which is a bit annoying. But we can work around that. His consistency is not that good, but he's not played an awful lot just yet. He can only play one position. Doesn't like getting stuck into challenges. His bravery is quite low, but they reckon he's a cover player, and it does lend to that. He has got 16 pace and 15 acceleration, but he can just become so much better than he is. They want us to do improve his aerial ability. I don't think necessarily that's the best thing to do. I think we need to get his defensive positioning up. So his marking, his positioning and his decision making, I think that's what we need to work on, and that's what we're going to do. I think physically he will just adapt over time. He is only 18. But what a signing. Contract-wise, he has got a £120 million release clause, but I think even if he's only here for 1 year, we're getting at least 40 million for him. So he is absolutely the starting centre-back alongside Jackson Perozzo. Speaking of Jackson, he has only got 184 days left until he gains Spanish nationality. So sort of halfway through the current season, season 4, he will be classed as a Spanish citizen, meaning that he won't count towards the registration. Unbelievable player again, 36 games in the league last season, 4 goals, got a 6.8 average rating. I love him to bits. He's a great player. He's now the vice captain because Felipe's retired. What a guy. So then that leads us into sort of how we're going to play up front. You'll see Miguel Rodriguez is now operating out on the right flank as an inverted, as an inside forward. He had a great end to the season. He had a very good end to the season. Played 9 games at attacking midfield right. He actually performed better out on the left, but he scored 5 goals and 18 appearances overall for us. I think he's a tremendous player. But who do we have up front who can complement him? Well, we do have a few people in now, and I'm going to show you them now. You do know one of them. He was there towards the end of the season. It was Adrian Butzka, who performed quite well. He played 14 games. He scored 4 goals for us overall. He was obviously in rotation with Chimiti and Gesand. A very different player to both of them. A bit more of a bull, more of a I'm going to run through you rather than sort of I'm going to use my ability to get past you. But he is obviously the main choice, but we do have two other forwards who have come in, and we'll start straight away with the Moroccan, who is Ryan May. Stoke fans will know how to say his name. I don't. He's coming on a free transfer from Stoke City. 6'2", jumping reach 13, acceleration 14, anticipation 13, 14, 14, 14 on the holy trinity of advanced forwards. Runs the ball through the centre, moves into the channels, likes to beat the offside trap, kills the ball. He's a very, very, very good striker with some good traits at a good age, where he's coming on a free transfer. He's going to play in rotation with Butska and the other striker that we brought in. But I like him. I like the look of him. He reminds me an awful lot of Baldini, but I think he's got a bit more about him. Again, ironically, Baldini was also Moroccan. So, yeah, we'll see how they go. And then next in, the highly experienced Mariano, the former Lyon and Real Madrid striker. I don't know if he's a good or a bad player. He's already talking about retiring, bearing in mind he's just come in on a free transfer at the age 32. Physically, he's still quite there. I've lost him now. Physically, he's still there. He's still there or thereabouts. He can operate as a pressing forward, and that's what we've started using rather than the complete forward. It just sort of suits the tactic a bit better, and it allows Miguel to get in behind, and he's more of the advanced striker. So we end up with two strikers, and then the inverted winger playing in behind him. I like him. Jumping reach of 15, acceleration 13, anticipation 14. Very brave, very aggressive, really good work rate, good heading, good set piece taker, good long shots. I mean, that'll help him as he gets a bit older and starts losing physically. If he can shoot from distance, he can drop in a bit more, maybe start playing as like the deep lying forward. He has got attributes to do so. I just think we're covered in the striker positions now. We don't have to worry about that for at least this season. So yeah, Butska goes in there as the starter. He will always be the starter. And then over in the right back position, a position we are quite light in now, but you will see that Taylor Harwood-Bellis is back. He is wanted by a couple of different clubs. He did have a decent loan spell away from the club. He was at Real Valladolid, who obviously challenged and qualified for Europe. Played a lot of football, is on quite a high wage. Whether we sell him or not, I don't know, because he does count towards the foreign player. He was obviously a fantastic player for us. It was just me being a bit of an idiot, which meant that the registration couldn't go through, as we did touch on one of the episodes. I'm not sure, to be honest. I think if we can get close to the 4.4 million valuation, it's probably worth selling up and maybe adding another sell-on clause there. We haven't quite decided, but we'll try and keep him in and around the first team until we know what we're doing. And then over on the left wing side, we do obviously have some decisions to make. I don't think we actually naturally have an out-and-out winger out there. Apologies for that. As I was saying before, I was rudely interrupted by my girlfriend ordering more clothes. Out on the left-hand side, I mean, you do have a look at Yakubu, who's not natural out there. In terms of games played last season, he dropped down to about 20 games. Do we sell Yakubu? 28 years of age, should be in his prime. He only really provides cover out there. Same for Ibrahim Salah. We're looking at getting rid of him. He's been listed for loan. He's been transfer listed. I do think there is a bid in for him. There is, if I remember. Yeah, it looks like he's probably going to go to Venezia. I do quite like him. He did spend the second half of last season out on loan and sort of kicked off about it. And then one person who we were looking at bringing in, we've got a lot of trialists in, and one of them is this guy. It's Noel Lopez. He is, again, not necessarily natural there. They think he's a striker. He comes from Real Madrid's academy. He's 23 years of age. Very well-rounded, actually, for a younger player. Physically, not necessarily there, but technically is quite good. So we only really have one natural option out there, and I think it's the natural progression of the lad, and it's Mario More, which would mean that we have our first out and out starter, well, apart from one that we've signed, but our first out and out starter who's come in from the academy. You can see he is a natural in the inverted winger role out wide left. He's only 18 years of age. Still got bags of potential in him. Had a very good season last season, a 6.67. So, 6.7 is the average on Football Manager. He's essentially just come in. He's a squad player at the age of 18. That's what it's telling me. They're still saying his ability is still not the best. He won't get stuck onto challenges. He's quite selfish. He'll get there. He will absolutely get there. Really good composure. He's still good technically. He's a good passer of the ball. I mean, his value's £18 million. He's a good player, but I think the natural progression of the squad and the natural progression for Mario Mora now means that he will come in and he will probably be the starter out there on the left. And I actually think that's our best starting lineup if we're playing with this tactic and this formation. And then that leads us into the second of it. And I want to start trying to train in a few different formations. Ignore these guys on centre mid support now. It is just the most basic of roles. There's no instructions. There's nothing. They are literally just central midfielders. The reason we've done that is because we're looking at a couple of different options and how we want to play. And can we take the game to some teams more? And we've signed someone who I think could fill that role. We've got a bid in for a very experienced player who can fill that role. And Isco, more of a creative player, more against when we're playing these teams who do sit deep. They do sit deep against us. We're a good attacking outfit now. I'm looking at getting Isco in. Natural in centre mid, natural in the advanced playmaker role. Just a good passer of the ball. He's been playing for Betis and they tear us apart every year, so he can't be that bad. Doesn't necessarily have what we're looking for, but what we're looking for just purely in this role is someone who's going to sit and play the ball through, and I feel like Isco is that. And then we did bring in this guy from Aris over in Greece on a free transfer. It is Manu Garcia. He played a bit all over. He actually played for City for a little bit. He was part of the City group. Went from Sporting Gijón to City to Alaves, sort of loaned around, ended up at Sporting, ended up going over to Greece for a couple of 3.6 million after leaving. Can he perform? I don't know if he can perform all that well. The coach is indifferent on him, I think is what I want to say. Why does he keep going back to the tactics screen? They're indifferent on him, the coaches. They think he is our best player. I mean, he's absolutely natural in that advanced playmaker role. Physically is okay. I think he was just worth the punt. Tries killer balls often, tries long range passes, likes the ball played into his feet, and he spreads it to the wide areas. I think that's where we're best, is out wide. So he suits exactly what we want. Can play as an enganche, can play as an advanced playmaker. It makes sense to have two formations, two tactics we can rely on. But to do that, we need players like Manu who are going to come in, fill a role for us, fulfill a duty, and yeah, I'm happy with Manu Garcia, and I'll be happy with Isco as a backup. But there's been more signings. There's been more. So, on the outside, we lost Brandon Thomas Asante has gone down to the second tier. We also lost Gonzalo Estevez to Nottingham Forest. 1.7 up front, 2.3 million overall, and with a 20% sell-on fee. So we used that money wisely, I think. We brought a couple of players in. One of the players we brought in on a free transfer again was Pepelu, 27 years of age, completely and utterly in his prime now. Former Levante player. I really like him. He can fulfill a couple of different roles. He played 35 games in defensive midfield for Valencia. So I think in those games where we want to try and break people down a bit more, someone like Pepelu who can play this defensive midfield, a playmaker role, he can still tackle, he can mark, he wins it back quite well. He's still got physicals are okay, he's quite tall. I think he just suits what we want, really. It probably means we do have to move one of the central midfielders on. Whether that means we let somebody go out on loan or not, I don't know. But that's probably what that means to me. And I'm just doing a quick shameless plug on my Twitter, my X here. And that is because Hugo Uranga once again was on the next gen list, and he's actually gone up to third place on the next gen now. We're talking about centre midfielders, maybe moving people on, maybe bringing youngsters back through, maybe loaning people out. I think Uranga is either in that column of he's either going to be there and he's going to be a rotational starter, or he's going out on loan to play a full season somewhere else. I'm not sure, because he does actually contribute quite well. He is wanted by Deportivo, who I think, did they finish? Yeah, they're still in the second tier. I'm really tempted to loan him out to Deportivo, who, what formation do they play? How do they play? They've still got good facilities, which is nice. They play a 4-4-2, so he'd be a central midfielder, or they may even play him up front. Decisions, really, on what to do with Hugo. I'm tempted to loan him out and just see if we can get him a regular starter somewhere. I mean, he played a lot for us last season, 21 games off the bench, 6.76. His next step is to play more football. I'm going to do it. I'm going to offer him out for loan. And then probably last for the window, really, we brought in, again, I'll show you, again, talking about the best way to find regens, the best way to find new players. We brought in Kai Bastian Corvers on a free transfer. He was actually released from his contract by Bayer Leverkusen. Again, another player who I'm thinking we probably need to get more game time for is Mustafa Gueye. So we had a little look at good jump and reach, good acceleration, good anticipation, good kicking, good reflexes, good rushing out, good teamwork, good technique. Do you see what I mean? Like, he is a sweeper keeper. Although it's saying that he favours normal goalkeeper, I think he is a sweeper keeper, and eventually, over time, will become a very, very good sweeper keeper. I like him. I like him a lot. He's got a good personality. He's come in on a free transfer. I think he can probably be the cover this season, and then we let Gueye go out on loan. Because if you look at them overall, Mustafa Gueye is much more rounded. He's a very well-rounded goalkeeper, Mustafa Gueye, highlighting for a sweeper keeper on defend, which is what we play. Gueye is better now, which is why I think he needs more game time now. It's a hard one. It's a hard decision, and I really, really hate sending young players out on loan, especially when I'm thinking of putting them in and around the first team. But I just think he's a little bit younger. He is only 17. He was actually wanted at one stage. He signed a new contract now, again, with a £120 million release fee. I think if we can get a full season under his belt with a team with good training facilities, we do actually have one. Let me just see if I could move him to later. He would be the close backup goalkeeper. We don't need that. We need him to be the starting player. First choice goalkeeper will do for me. But this is a decision we've got to make. A lot of people have got to go on loan. A lot of people are probably going to go out the club still. I think even if you just look at my squad as a whole and we do it based on position, we are overloaded in a few different positions. We've got people like Ruano, who spent a good season out on loan. Could he come in and sort of be an option out there at fullback? I do like him. He's tall. He's got what we look for. Could this be a breakout season for him? Do we sell Taylor Harwood-Bellis? He's wanted by a few people. We've got someone like Ivan, who could potentially be a 3-star centre-back. He still hasn't developed as much. Bagoria's come in. He's going to be the starter. We've put a bid in for this guy, Marcel Becker, who was released by Dortmund. I think he's a fullback, to be honest. I think we could train him to play fullback. We've got a lot of options. Zach looks like he's going out. £1 million bids up front from Burnley, Watford and Montpellier. Each one of them has a 20% sell-on fee. He was literally always going to be like a punt in the dark, really. He had a good season out at Leganes. We can move him on. We can get money for him now. We can get money for him later. It makes sense. Miguel Jimenez, another one who could potentially break in. Does he get another loan? Darren Phillips, another player we've put an offer in for, the former Everton right back, 6'4", 14 jumping reach. Anticipation's a bit low, but I actually think this guy could come in and probably be a starter from the off. Ryman, there's just so many things I've got to think about. This is the 4th season now. Some of these players will make it, some of these players won't make it. I don't think David Guerra is going to make it. I'm going to give him another loan. I don't know. I'm not sure. Simone Bastoni performed well towards the end of the season, but again, he's only ever going to be a rotation option with the likes of Pepelu coming in. He's never going to be a starter, and you can see that he didn't really start an awful lot for us this season. 25 games in total. Good player, good personality, probably not a starter. Another player we've put an offer in for, former Man City centre-back, John Rayo. Got a lot of what I like. He just needs a bit of fine-tuning. Could potentially play out as a right-back, which we do look for tall full-backs. Claude Nkunku, what a player. He has to stay for me. He is wanted by a few teams. He's wanted by Deportivo and Huesca. I think because he played again so often for us, the fact that we've lost Felipe and Begoria has come in, and Nkunku then drops down to back up again, but I feel like we do need him in and around the squad. He's played a lot of games for us last season, 17 games, 18 overall with one off the bench. Joseba Alberdi, we're looking at getting him out. Lots of loan offers. He's developing very nicely. I think he's one of them that we can just sell on for a fee. Busquets is here for another couple of years. We've got Pepelu, McMordy King Huther scored that fantastic goal against Atletico Madrid. In his prime, do we sell him? We probably do, because we've got a lot of options in the middle there. There's another guy here that we've got on trial, Ramon Terretz. The coaches love him. The coaches think he's a very good player. He plays as a centre midfield on attack. He tries killer balls often. He dictates the tempo. He can play Metzala support. Does he really have what we're looking for? He's got 12 jump and reach. He's got 12 acceleration, 13 anticipation. He's very technical, though. He's very, very technical. And on eyes test alone, I think he's probably one we bring in. So again, we're just so overloaded. I mean, Jota will always be the starter. He's worth 4.1 million now, Jota. We brought him in for like 200k, I think it was. What a player. You've got Jota there. We've got Quintana, who spent the second half of the season out on loan. What do we do? We've got a lot of players. I keep fleecing this guy. I feel really bad for him, Ganuri. He's always wanted by someone. Deportivo quite fancy him too. He's a good player. He's 19 years of age now, though. I'm thinking of letting him go out the door and then just putting a fat sell-on fee on him. I think the problem would that be we would have to give him a full-time contract first. We have put contract offer in for him. That was the plan. That was the plan. Gustavo Puerta, again, he is definitely the starter. Very injury prone. He got injured a lot last season, Gustavo Puerta. If we just have a little look, does it say it in his coaching report? It doesn't. But if we look at his medical report, out a lot. 2024, he coming to us. So 24, 25. This was when he was on loan. Bruised knee, tight Achilles. This was the start of last season. Tight Achilles, a damaged foot, a twisted knee, a tight Achilles again on the other side. He had flu, he had a hernia. He's injured quite a bit, so we do need cover in that midfield role, but he's still got he's just got bags of potential. If he could play consistently, it'd be fantastic. I've got a lot of decisions to make, a lot of young players who probably need to go out the door, whether it be on loan, whether it be permanently. We've put a bid in for this guy, your Aji, who is naturally a striker. I think he's got a bit about him. 14, 10 on anticipation. I think we can get him in and we can train him for a year, loan him out and see how he does. If not, we can just make money on him. This guy, Eden Hadzic, he's wanted again. He's wanted by, again, Atletico's B team. Do we let him go? He's been in and around the mentoring group now for a year and not pushed on. He's not got it, I don't think. Yakubu's probably going to go. Umar Faye, now we've got cover on both flanks. I'm probably going to let Umar Faye go out on loan, but he's a good player again. Played 4 games for us throughout the course of the season. We've got Carlos Galindo, who is a fantastic player, but his personality will not change. We'll probably loan him out for the season. And then again, we've got the two Starboy strikers, Danny Lorenzo, who spent pretty much all of last season out on loan, actually, between FC Andorra and Fuenlabrada. I really like him. He's 20. I don't think he's going to push on. I really don't. I love him. I think he's a great player. I just don't think he's going to push on. I'm probably going to sell Danny Lorenzo, and then obviously we've got Ivan Ramos there as well, who is still 5-star potential. He's still improving. He's 19. His loan didn't go too well. This loan will be his last loan. If he doesn't perform on this loan, I'm going to have to ship him out the door. But he is out of contract in the summer. Do I let him go now? Do I put a sell-on fee on him? I've got so many decisions to actually make, and I did say in the last episode I didn't want to do this type of episode again, but the actual off-season has thrown up a lot of issues. Again, we don't use the B team. It doesn't work. It doesn't work properly. But the under-19s, we did have another youth intake. We did have some good players coming through. Another Ivan. There's an Ivan in every youth intake. Again, good player. We've still got good players coming through. Herve Roma, a French striker. What a player. Again, could be fantastic. I've got a lot of decisions to make. A lot of decisions. Just on transfers and decisions, we actually got another £1.1 million in from the transfer of Jean-Paul Van Hecker from Dortmund to Sevilla on a permanent. He's worth a lot more now. He's playing for a better club. It's the way it works. They signed him for 10 mil after paying a 1.5 million loan fee. Then they paid 1.1 million across to us. It's why we do it. It is why we do it. Obviously, it's what we look to do. It makes sense. It's how a club like us makes money. And look at all these. We can still sell some now. Luke Wolfenden is a player who is wanted by a few clubs, if I remember. I do keep an eye on these. Yeah, Hetafe won him. We could be making money off Wolfenden. We've still got money coming in for Valenti, for Radunovic. Falcao still getting us money in. You know, we've made money and we are still making money. Camelo will probably go. They've been relegated. He's on a hefty wage. He will probably go. We do have that sell-on fee there as well. And this is why we do it. It is why we do it. It does make sense to us. We're still getting money in for Takuma Asano. 20% sell-on fee for Alvaro Fernandez, who is worth quite, you know, he's got quite a high ceiling. So, yeah, we've got a lot of chopping and changing and trading to do and sort of tinkering the squad for how we want it. But I'm going to show you now how I found Bagoria, the centre-back, and how I think the best way of scouting new gens and regens is. So obviously the tried and tested, and how we actually got a few of those players who are on trial, and obviously the German goalkeeper that you're seeing. Create a new shortlist, Control W, go to World, all transfers, youth departures, put them all on the shortlist, and then obviously if you're using scouting, scout them. If not, you can filter down the attributes by using your eyes. I think a few of them will have been put on here. Yeah, exactly that. So again, you think of what we look for. We look for jump and reach, acceleration, anticipation. That's how we found a lot of these players. It makes sense. A lot of free players that could come in, be sold for more money, sell on fees, etc. But then the absolute creme de la creme, the best one, without a shadow of a doubt, is literally just this. If you've got the new GAN face pack, load it up, throw it in there, drop this down to 2 if you can. Drop it down, let's find some players. And this is it. It will forever be the best way of finding new gen players on any football manager, is by using Zealand's new GAN face pack filter as a filter. It's literally how we found Bagoria. Look at him. We got him for 7.25 million. You've got like this guy here, Milos Stanic. Obviously, I've filtered the jump and reach down. I've filtered the 2 of the 3. He's got great acceleration, anticipation. Look at him. He is worth up to £5 million. Both footed. What a player. Let's see, we're looking at someone who's maybe a fullback or a centre-back, 6'5" fullback. That's what we like to see. It is the best way. You can find players who are available for loan doing this. Ty Walters from Man United, for example. What a player. Technically and physically superb. This guy, Ivalo Miladinov, has come up a few times. He doesn't want to join us, but he will be a good player. It will forever be the best way. It's how we found Simon Horn. Again, he's our player. Look at him. He will be a good player. Anyone else? This Legras has got a bid in on him. Physically superb again. Who's he got a bid in by? Venezia. 17-year-old centre-back worth £22 million. Another Ivan. Will Morris of Fulham. you know, you can see what I'm getting at. You can fully see what I mean. I mean, if you're looking at the eyes test, someone like Lothar Hoffmann, fantastic player, resolute personality, worth just under £1 million, as natural on the right, as natural behind the striker, will become a fantastic player. It will forever be the best way of finding new gens. Forget any other scouting method, any other tip. This is the one. You can literally find every single new gen on the game using this filter, and you can search through by your eyes. You can literally scout every single one. I don't know why people don't use it, to be completely honest with you. There's this guy, his anticipation's terrible. Eddie David has got better anticipation. 6'1" left back. We do love a tall fullback, as you know. We've got Ryan Bierman. Again, his anticipation's quite low. Ivan Suarez is good, but his jump and reach is really low. But if you look at him, he's a 20-year-old striker playing in the lower divisions who you can get for less than 650k. That's a good striker. So yeah, you use the tools that you've got to your advantage. That's what I always say. This is how I've scouted a lot of players. Ivan Jara, again, another fantastic player. He's got 19 jumping reach and is 6'3". Ah! Big meaty boy. Luciano Vanderveer. Holy moly. Wowie. This guy as well. Henry Slett. Oh, fuck me. It's the best way. It is the best way. It really, really, truly is. It will forever be the best way. But I'm going to leave that there. Next time you see us, we will be into the season. We will have played some games. We will have an idea. Ooh, Sam Stanley is Greek. I like the name. Yeah, we will be into the season. We'll have played a few games. We will. Oh, a 6'3" left back. Ooh, he's cheap as well. Antonio Cunha. Ooh, I do like him. We will have signed some more players. Some more players will be out the door. We will be well into the season, and hopefully we can improve on that 9th place finish and maybe push for Europe. But for now, take care. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all next time for the eyes test.